This one, I'm not even going to pull up an article because let's just talk about what we felt about the movie, especially for a movie that didn't do as well as I thought. I don't really know what I thought it would do, but not numbers that low.
Yeah, Chris, legit, he was like, that movie is so much better than Matrix. Oh, yeah. I told you.
So much better than The Matrix. But if you look at it here, the critic score is 43%. That's really, really low. And the audience score is 76%, which is just generally, like a C?
Wait. Was there advertisements for this?
I saw a few banners on IMDb and a few banners on other sites, but I'm looking for this stuff all day long. So likely I only saw that because I'm looking on sites where these things are heavily advertised, right?
I remember I saw a clip of the Mad Priest Rasputin, right?
Rasputin.
Yep. Yeah, I remember seeing that, but other than that, I don't remember seeing any other advertisement for this. So
this movie, it stars Ralph Fiennes as Orlando Oxford and Gemma Arterton. I never know how to pronounce her last name. As Polly, and then Harris Dickinson as Conrad Oxford. That's Orlando Oxford's son. That's the son. And then Jamon Hansu as Shola. And then there's a lot of other actors in there that I didn't I knew by face, but not necessarily by name. Daniel Bruhl played a main character on the bad guy side. That's the guy who played Zemo in Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah.
And then I know he was very good in that movie.
There's a scene from Falcon and the Winter Soldier where he's dancing in the club.
Oh yeah, he's in there, huh? I forgot about that. Yeah.
He's dancing in the club, and that became a meme because he's just dancing like this.
And then he's a great actor.
He is.
He's a great actor, especially given that character, his character in that movie, he didn't have superpowers, but we don't want to get too far off topic.
He knows how to get into your head.
He can get in your head. And then here's the other one that I was actually really surprised about. We were coming home from the movie, and we were discussing all the scenes with Rasputin, the Mad Monk.
And it's based on a real person.
Yes. No, it's based on a real person. I knew that, but I had no idea that Rhys Ifans played him. Now, Rhys Ifans was in. We were just at, what was the other movie we saw recently? Not Matrix, but he was in Spider-Man. He's he's Connors, right? Lizard.
Are you sure? Oh, yeah.
Right? So he's, and I always remember him from, he played Mycroft Holmes on the show Elementary. But I could not believe that was the same person. That's like makeup and hair on the level of what they're doing with Colin Farrell as the Penguin in the upcoming Batman movie. I had no idea it was the same person.
Also, acting skills.
Yeah, totally nuts. Now, this movie is basically the story of how the Kingsmen come to be an organization, right? I will say that I was fond of the first Kingsman. I don't know if I ever finished Golden Circle, which is weird because this is totally my genre. If you look at all the movies that I have picked for 2022, almost all of them fall in the spy thriller category. But what I do recall is that this is it's not very much like the original Kingsman. Less gadgets. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because they're forming the organization, so it wouldn't be a fully fledged out idea. So it should feel different, right? But one critique of this movie that I agree with 110% is tonally, this movie is all over the place.
Yeah.
It can't decide whether it wants to be a comedy, like the scenes with Rasputin and Oxford in Orlando in the, he's doing the weird leg thing that's got like these weird undertones to it. It's really creepy. But then you also have this great story of a father trying to protect a son who is desperate to serve his country and prove himself. And there's a lot that could be done there. Like, that's a pretty beautiful story.
I like that storyline more.
Yeah, like that story to me was beautifully handled when it was on screen. But then the rest of the tone of the movie felt really far and wide, all over the place. So it was hard to hold on to the emotional resonance of those scenes when everything else feels all over the place. The term dramedy is used, when it's a drama, thank you for that, that has the undertones of comedy in it, right? But that's usually very, very subtle comedy that bolsters the drama in certain places, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the comedy is ridiculous and over the top,
Yeah.
and takes away from the dramatic elements, and it falls somewhere in this weird middle ground that doesn't really fit neither here nor there. Did you get the same feeling? Did the tone bother you?
I didn't notice the tone until you pointed it out, because like I didn't really care for the Mad Monk. I was like more in tune with the father-son storyline.
That story was great.
Yeah, like I was so upset that his son Comrade died.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it. So basically, there is the one scene of the movie that I knew that I was going to like more than anything as it was going on was they're basically the son pulls a fast one because his dad, even after he enlists in the army and his dad is very worried about him, his dad finds a way that because he's a child of wealth, that his dad's going to find a way to keep him from being able to serve in a dangerous location, right? It's like, we'll make sure he's assigned to some type of detail back at home, right?
Only kitchen
detail or something. And the son switches places with another military
No, that's a different. So basically his dad did it twice, the kitchen one, and then the second one was where he got excused by the majesty. Like the king said, here, you're going back home early, and that's where
but not home, but he was going home for like a post at home, and he switches with that guy.
No, they said he was on leave.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the leave part. Okay. And basically he switches with that guy.
Yeah.
And so he gets sent right where he wants to go, which is into the front lines, meaning that he is in the literal war, the trenches.
Yeah.
And there is this incredible scene where a soldier who's coming back with
how he's still alive.
Yes, there's this incredible scene where there's a spy for Britain is coming back, or for England is coming back with information that they need, and he gets hit with a mortar, and they send out they need 6 volunteers to go out and try to get the information that was on him, and he's the son. Conrad was the only one to volunteer, and everybody else had to be picked by their commander. And basically it becomes that all of those members who didn't volunteer end up dying, and then the son gets to the body, what they think is the body of that spy of theirs, and the guy's still alive.
Yeah. No, like what made me sad, because this is where he realized that he wasn't fit for a war, when he knocked off one of the Germans' gas masks.
Yep.
And it's a young kid, and he's like, please don't kill me, please.
Yep, the kid's pleading with him.
Yeah, and like Comrade saw his comrades.
Conrad, not his name is not Comrade. His name is not Comrade. His name is Conrad.
I know, I caught myself with that. But he saw his fellow soldiermen get killed, and like he's like bleeding out of his mouth while getting stabbed, and
he finally understands what his dad has been saying this whole time,
and he apologized to the kid. He's like, I'm so sorry, and he like slices the kid's throat, and then he stabs the other people.
And mind you, this is in the middle of a movie where the tone is all over the place. There's comedy, there's drama, and then all of a sudden there's this really it's not played horrifying. I feel like with different color palette and different music, this could have been played as utterly horrifying. It's horrifying in a very Hollywood way, but it still gets the point across, right? It shows you the horrors of war. And as he's coming back, he gets to the guy that they need to get get the information off of, and find out the guy is still alive, sans a leg, and he carries this dude through a literal war zone, through the trenches, all the way back.
Until he got shot.
Until then somebody finds out that he's not who he says he is, because he had to lie to get sent to the front lines, and one of his own countrymen doesn't question it, just automatically assumes he's a German spy and shoots him in the head.
Well, because he was holding something that was related to the Germans. He looked at the symbol and he was like, "You German!"
No, and he knew, and that guy knew that he wasn't who he said he was, because he said he knew the guy that he was pretending to be.
And also his Scottish accent was great. He was like, is that the best Scottish accent you have?
So the point is that we watch him, we're like clenching, like, get back, he has to get back safe as he's carrying this dude across. Bombs are going off all around him. He makes it back, and then only to then 2 seconds later have the rug pulled out from under you and you get shot in the head. If the whole movie had been in the tone of that, obviously not that intense, but had kept that tone through the whole movie, it would have been incredible. But it really wouldn't have been a Kingsman movie. So it's weird because this movie really rests on on Ralph Fiennes's ability as an actor to be both humorous when he needs to be and dramatic when he needs to be. Like when he's mourning his son's death, it feels out of place, but it could have been far worse if it wasn't as talented of an actor playing
but
that role.
But you felt like his pain because he's reading it. He was like, oh, my son is going to come back.
Yep.
And then he reads to the end and he's like, oh my God.
So it really does this. If this movie fails without Ralph Fiennes being able to really carry those disparate tones, which I don't think really work, but work a little bit more than they would normally in the hands of such a talented lead actor.
Yeah.
I will say that I was very worried about this movie at the beginning because I heard the term privilege and concentration camps shoved into the first like 2 minutes of the movie. And when I hear modern day, I mean, when I hear the terms like privilege, which whatever you want to think about it, fine. But in a period piece from this era, hearing them use modern day linguistics is automatically a turnoff to me because it's you can feel the writer writing the scene. So I have no opinion one way or the other on the politics of it. My point is that when you can feel a writer, it's almost as if because the rest of the movie didn't really feel like it had this tone, right? But you can almost feel it was either like a note from a producer or from the studio to include something like that.
Yeah.
If Vaughn didn't write that line, then it was something like, we need to include something like this because it's topical. And on a period piece for a prequel, that doesn't really work for me. So I was very worried early on that this movie was going to have heavy political undertones to it. And it really did manage to avoid that for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. Like the mom said it, the dad said it, and then
it fit their characters because they are like the dad's a pacifist. They're a family of wealth and privilege, but it's using those words. It's the way she said it to the son that felt very.
It felt pushed.
It felt very forced and topical to 2021, not to World War I.
Yeah.
So. I do think that it avoided more problems by doing that, though ironically I think that if it had more of it, I think the tomato meter would be higher on the critics side, given how we know critics take movies like that. But I would like to commend them for managing to avoid that. You didn't like the Mad Monk scene. I know a lot of people, like I was reading the reviews, felt like that scene was really out of place in the rest of the movie.
I didn't like it, and I also didn't like the maid Polly, like she was like your push feminist character because she's like, boys are messy, and she just shot Rasputin in the forehead.
She had to come and save them. It didn't bother me. Like, trust me, you know me. Like when this stuff is noticeable, it bothers me. Maybe it's because I like Gemma Arterton as an actress. Maybe it's because it wasn't overly like she wasn't saving everyone every 5 minutes, and it wasn't unrealistic. It's not like she got into a fist fight with Rasputin and beat him up after everyone else lost. But, you know, and then she holds that same level of skill throughout the movie without it feeling over the top. Meaning, like, when they get in their final battle, when they track down the camp where the villain is at the end, she plays her role in helping, but she doesn't do all the work.
Yeah, but you cringe in the beginning part where, like, Ralph's character, Orlando, pulls her in, and she's like, you didn't even get me a drink. You cringed at that.
I did. But at that point, they hadn't revealed the fact that she and him were working together outside of just being a maid and or maid and master, or whatever you would say for that term.
We can't say master anymore.
Yes, you can't say master anymore. So it didn't bother me as much once I saw that they had a working relationship outside of that portion of it. She
fell in love with him. Like, that was the twist.
There was that weird scene where they're like gonna hug and like they don't hug. That was masterful. Like Ralph Fiennes is really good at those awkward scenes. He does, like, he's like weird dad awkward. and I love it. And then, that's the other thing. One more thing. Anytime Orlando, Ralph Fiennes' character, does any type of physical exertion, all you will ever hear is Voldemort saying, "Nya." It's the voice he would do in all the Harry Potter movies when he'd cast a spell. It was like a huge joke in the trailers.
Yeah.
Nya. Like he makes this sound, and you hear it in every action scene when he's doing this, and all I can see is Voldemort trying to cast Avada Kedavra on people trying to win World War I. So that was funny.
I don't know.
In general, you liked it though.
I do like it. Like if they got rid of those parts, I think I will like it more because like for me, I don't really like feminist parts that are forced down every
forced for sure.
Like I like her character.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I like her, but I just don't like it when it's forced down my throat.
She got done real dirty in her James Bond role. She got like 5 minutes of screen time.
Aww.
That always bummed me out. Then they killed her in an oil bath.
Oh.
A motor oil bath. Very sad. Fantastic actress. Okay, so in the last week, we've seen 3 big movies. We've seen Spider-Man No Way Home, we've seen The Matrix Resurrections, and we saw The Kingsman.
Yeah.
Rate them for me.
Spider-Man number 1, Kingsman, and then Matrix.
Yeah, I think that goes without saying for both of us. So yeah, I would recommend, guys, if you're looking for a break from superhero movies, which I am really, like, all my movies that I picked out for our 2022 list are non-superhero movies, because we're gonna go see the superhero movies anyways, right? We're gonna go see anything comic book related. I'm kind of desperate and hungry for stuff that isn't comic book
Let's
in
watch
origin.
Sing 2.
So I'm not that desperate. So if you're looking for something different, if you're looking for a break from the typical comic book movie or animated film, I do recommend going and seeing The Kingsman. Tonally, it is a little bit all over the place, but I do think in general, it's an inoffensive, good time at the movies.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.